Thank you.
We have, oh, you're welcome.
Yes, you could read the second part as well. Thank you.
Oh, okay. We have much to gain now and nothing to lose. Nothing at all, and the world with you as a, and that's all I can read.
That's what I thought.
Oh, there we go.
We have much to gain now and nothing to lose. Nothing at all. And the world with you as a stable center has nothing to lose and everything to gain. Thank you all. Prepare for sitting and recollecting our aspirations for this practice. That we cause least harm, beginning with ourselves, that we offer something in this day towards the good. And that we do so for ourselves, for those we love, in ever widening circles to include all those everywhere, without exception, omitting none, freeing us all. So we begin by placing a light attention on awareness of this body, this precious body offered to us in this precious human life. Holding the body gently and lightly, seeing if you can offer a loving presence. Embracing that God indwelling. Feeling the feet, the legs, and the hips, and breathing down and touching into the stable base, drawing oneself closer to the earth. Moving then from the base of the spine up the body, feeling that inner dignity and nobility in the uprightness, the movement up towards the heavens, feeling that uplift with each in-breath. And then beginning by breathing down the body from the top of the head, inviting in all that goodness throughout all time, letting it pour in and over us right here in the front of the body. The goodness of the traditions and lineage, the goodness of the truth, the goodness of love and kindness, compassion and wisdom that has contributed to our being present and alive, open and awake right here. Down from the forehead, touching into the face, the neck, and the shoulders. Breathing it in to the heart space. The goodness of you, the goodness of others. Breathe it in. And soften the body around that heart of awakening of goodness. Even though you and I could easily recollect a moment of ignorance, a moment of confusion, a moment of greed or aggression, that we are here today begins to unbind that karmic knot towards the good. And then feeling that radiant heart generate throughout the whole body. We rest in the warmth, the spaciousness, and the goodness of this very body. And we don't move towards the breath. We let the breath speak to us. We just rest in the body in its wholeness, sitting here. Letting that metronome of the breath help us find our way to this one breath at this present moment. And we rest here. With each breath, we feel the breath in the body. We release with each out-breath the shackles of our old, limited identities. So that we can take the shape of that God, that awareness, that source, that one, whatever that is for you. Use that. And we let the heart mind take the shape of that boundlessness. All practice has the one aim to be of benefit. And we begin here just like this with this one breath. Inviting calm, stability, unhooking ourselves from the proliferation of the pancha, self-making thoughts. We simply let them go. And come back to rest, this one breath, this one body. Using the guardrail of the breath to stay in contact. And even in this, we can invite that essential kindness. It's easy to self-denigrate. It's easy to judge. It's easy to have opinion, even about this body and breath. We can cultivate the essential good heart, offering kindness, joy, appreciation, gratitude, patience, right here. Thoughts about the day, thoughts about the tasks, thoughts about the self, thoughts or worry about others, we simply come back again. Awareness of this body, sitting here breathing. as mind and body join, as the heart has a home in the crucible of this mind and body, we are naturally awakened and can sense the refuge available to us right here, grounded to the earth, present to the body, opening to the flow of the breath. Perfect refuge. Resting in the aspiration. If this is your contribution to the day and to its goodness, this is good. If the heart mind is not filled with hatred, ill will, aggression, confusion, or greed, this is good. And from the guardrail of the breath, we can come to the end of the breath, begin to rest, as the mind is not wandering all about, just opening into that vast open space, both inner and outer. Vast open space of the awakened heart mind. Vast open space of all that is around us. With this stable heart mind, we can open the world around us. And whether we experience then a pleasant or an unpleasant object, a body sensation, a sound, or a thought, we stay resting in that openness, in that stillness. We let it come and appear and be and pass away. This is the training. And then when we make contact with a pleasant event, we can breathe it in, enjoy it for the moment. And as we breathe out, we breathe it out with that pith phrase, may this be a benefit. When we let go of it and we send it out, we don't keep it, we don't cherish it, we enjoy the breath in the moment, and then we give it away. And if you don't have a specific person to whom to give this moment of goodness, we can just send it out in all directions. May others enjoy this benefit, this pleasantness, this goodness. And I'm here hearing the beautiful singing birds in a nearby tree. And so I'm resting in that pleasantness on the in-breath. And on the out-breath, I'm sending those sounds to those who are hearing conflict, hearing things that cause them fear. May this bird song be a benefit. Maybe on the in-breath, you make contact with the fact that you're sitting upright with that inner dignity and mobility, without too much distress in the body. You can capture and recognize that moment. Breathe it in, recollect its goodness. And on the out breath, we can send it out to all those who have significant body affliction or despair. Or maybe you know a specific one who is having difficulties today with the body. Breathing it out for them. May this be a benefit. And in this way, each moment we give away the goodness. And in this moment, a strong, a fairly powerful felt sense of compassion for all those who struggle with the body, who struggle with illness, who struggle with COVID, who are on ventilators, who can't breathe, came to mind. And I'm naturally just breathing in the ease with which I'm breathing. I'm sending out that ease of breath to them. May this be a benefit. And I don't think we have to rush that portion of the Tonglen. It may be that we rest for a while in contacting the goodness all around us and sending it out. It's just right. What will happen naturally in its time is that we will turn towards the truth of suffering. And naturally, because we are already in the practice of training on the medium of the breath, we can just naturally breathe in that difficulty. May I take in that difficult breath for all those struggling. May I send out the easeful breath. May this be a practice. And remember, it's not just our own physical bodies. It's not just the lungs. We're taking it into the radiant heart. The radiant heart of this entire body being. And simply making contact with your genuine wish that you all beings be free from this suffering. Be free from distress, from a labored breath, from anguish. That is true, whatever you make contact with. And remember, we can always use the special one as the recipient if they come to mind, and if not, maybe just a group of people who we know, as we do, are struggling to breathe because they have COVID or because they have an illness. And of course, there is no limit to this practice. I just had an ache in my Achilles, and I made contact with that ache. I can breathe that in for myself and those others just like me who feel this too. And I can send out the wish for relief. And for me, I send out relief itself, a warm wrap on the ankle, a little bit of ibuprofen. Well, okay. We can be very practical. And it always comes with the wish. May this be a benefit. So if you breathe in a moment of ease, enjoy it and send it out. To all those who have less ease. And if you have a moment of difficulty, make contact, take it in, remembering that others feel this too. And send out your love. You send out the antidote, the cure, the healing, the good medicine in whatever form it takes. And then we can work for a moment, not too long, with a specific difficulty. These are on the spot practices here. But I am recollecting now, and I'd like you to recollect a particular moment of difficulty in the last few days. And in the last few days, I've been really noticing my own fear about the future of the world. And I notice that as I go into that fear, there's quite a contraction in the heart, the throat, and the chest. And I'm going to, on purpose, turn towards that fear right now. Remembering that in the face of fear, we can actually choose to open instead of contract. And the very recognition of the fear as a contribution. And I'm just breathing that in, recollecting the feelings in the body. And I'm not trying to change the feeling of contraction, but I'm opening completely to it. And then remembering that others just like me know this fear. And I can begin breathing in not only for myself, but for them, all those just like me who have fear and contraction as we look at the future. And I'm inviting that openness, that radiant light heart to shine right on it, holding it, welcoming it in. And as I'm breathing out, I'm sending out that wish. May we all be free from that fear. Sending that light, that soft glow, that healing energy. You see what comes to mind for you. Breathing in that fear, taking it into the radiant heart, letting the goodness and the light of that heart transmute it into the elixir, into the solution of healing, into goodness, and I send it out with the out breath. And remember that if we have difficulties, if we begin to move into contraction or fear, there's several things we can do. We can call on the resources, the other bodhisattvas, the other Buddhas, the others we love, others who have loved us. We can call on them and invite them in to support us, wrap their loving arms around us as we wrap our arms around others. Infinite beings who are available to contribute with you. Maybe. And we can always come back to the breath and the body. We can contact again with our aspirations and intentions, remembering all that supports us. Simply resting down. And coming back into the body. Softening. Resting in the enlivened, awakened, open heart mind. Filling all space. Touching into the good heart with the in-breath and with the out-breath, just radiating in love. We have much to gain now and nothing to lose. Nothing at all in the world with you as a stable center, as a radiant light, as a source of goodness. There's nothing to lose and everything to gain. Taking a moment just to invite a few gentle neck stretches and shoulder rolls. Being gentle with the body. Thank you all. I know some of you can't stay past now. Thank you for being here. I'm going to try to switch the screen now to the slogans so that we can look at them. I'm going to show this large sheet to you. Let's see if that can work. Yeah, I think I can do it. Can everybody see the 6 points? Goes from 23 to 38. Do you see that? Hopefully. Yeah.
Yep, I can see them.
Great. Thank you. I'm just going to look at these quickly, just read through them briefly, and then we're going to go to Pema's little commentaries, contemporary commentary on them, and they're just as short as these. And so slogan 23, right, always abide by the 3 basic principles. And you see those: changing your attitude but remaining natural. That means not getting so full of yourself once we are on the path. Don't talk about others' deficiencies. And here it's referred to as injured limbs. Don't be preoccupied with others in comparison or take pleasure in their frailties, their vulnerabilities, or their weakness. Don't ponder others. That's that one. Work with the greatest defilements first, your own greatest obstacles, your own greatest cravings and clinging. Begin with yourself, as we have heard in other slogans. Don't be trying to fix others. This is the wrong path. And the greatest defilement is your own confusion, your own greed, and your own wanting, your own aggression. Begin there. 28, abandon any hope of fruition. This is one of my favorite. I can get caught up every once in a while in, well, if I do this, then that will get this result, and it's very subtle. And I often don't notice it until it doesn't happen, where I've invested a resource or a contribution purely lovingly without contract, and then it doesn't go the way I want it to go, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, how did that happen? What's going on? And of course, we constantly are working to let go of the result, to stay in the present moment, just as we were practicing. Abandon poisonous food. I'm going to say right now that what that means for me, the news, poisonous food, anything we ingest that contributes to our distress, that contributes to our ill will, that it is not useful. Abandon that poisonous food. And so for me, I've been staying off of media. It has been quite a relief, except for the contributions that I make on it. Not very helpful, makes us sick, as we all know. Don't be so predictable. What that means is when you confront a wrongdoing, one of our habits is to feel righteous. That'd be very predictable, to feel entitled, to feel that we're superior, to cultivate a certain arrogance in regards to that other's wrongdoing. And this says, don't hold that grudge, and don't be so predictable. Don't, because something is not going your way or because it was even the wrong way, believe that you are now entitled to greed, hatred, or delusion. Don't malign others. That means do not talk about it. This is a little consistent with right speech. We don't have time for talking about others. We're just trying to manage our own minds and bodies. Who's got time for getting over in somebody else's garden? Don't wait in ambush. This is I think this is one of the funniest ones. Don't wait for others' weaknesses to appear so that we can finally malign them. See, I knew they weren't so great because they did this. Let me move this, it's in my way. Don't things painful point. That means to the point where you are now contributing to harm by gossip, by hatred, be watchful. Don't ever get to that painful point. And humiliation and condemnation are two versions of that. Don't transfer the ox's load to the cow. This is another favorite of mine. Take responsibility. It says here for yourself, but I just like take responsibility, period. Be accountable, period. Um, that's it. I remember a long time ago, I was complaining to my son about something I was going to be doing. I was like, why do I didn't say it like this, but he certainly got the message. Like, why am I always the one who blah, 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 makes the dinner or does the I don't know what it was, some small thing. And my probably then 11-year-old son turned to me, looked me right in the eye, and he said, because you can. Because you can. That's why. And it was a deep teaching, because I can. That's the reason. And it is a good enough one, right? Just from there. So we don't transfer our responsibility or our potential for contributing to the good to another. Like if only that person is elected, here's one of the ways we do it, then our world will be better. No, our world will be better when you take responsibility and when we all take responsibility for making other will save us. Don't try to be the fastest. It's about competition with others. Don't act with a twist. Do good deeds in the hope of recognition, salvation, that it'll go better for you later. We do it just because we're doing it, because it's the right thing. And that's the twist. Doing something to get something, very dangerous, and something we all have to watch. Don't turn gods into demons. Be watchful of taking on spiritual materialism, trying to increase our good karma, because that just leads to greater self-claiming. And the last, don't seek others' pain as the source of your own happiness. Okay, so that's those. Those are my thoughts about it very quickly. Let's see if we can get out of this now and see if we can't get to a little Pema's version. They're actually quite delightful. And let me see if I can share that. There we go. And so let me know if you can see these. I have 24 up here. I guess I'd have to change the screen every time. Let's see how we do. Since I've got 24 here, I'm going to start with that one. Change your attitude but remain natural. That was the second one. We actually have one before that. I think I can get to. Oh, here we are. Yeah, so this is 23. The three basic principles are, and that's number 23, practice in the three basic principles. They are keeping the promises you make. And this really doesn't mean just in your everyday, it means in the vows that you take. Whatever those are, if they're marital vows, if they're refuge vows in the Buddhist tradition, they're Catholic, I suppose, baptism, confirmation, and others. I'm sure there are many vows that we take as we accomplish, even the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts and military, their healthcare workers take vows, like Carrie and Jim and Renee, and right. So we stay with vows we have taken and that we make, and then we refrain from outrageous conduct. I don't love the word. I would just say anything inconsistent with the vows. Whatever is inconsistent with the vows, we refrain from that. We keep directing ourselves towards those commitments and aspirations that we have made. And we continue to cultivate patience on the path because we all need it desperately. Let's switch over. Share, let's see if it works this way. Change your attitude, but remain natural. This year says, working on reversing your caught up, self-important, self-cherishing ways. We can break the prison and break out of it with gentleness, with openness, with kindness. And then we just relax, it says. Let's see if I can push it. There you go. This one says, don't talk about the injured limbs. Remember, don't malign others. And that's exactly what she says here. Don't try to build yourself up by talking about others' defects or problems. It's not very kind. Don't ponder others. Don't focus on others' weaknesses and become arrogant and inflate your own accomplishments. 26, 27, work with the greatest defilements first. Gain insight into your own obstacles, fight aggression, ill will, and so forth, and work with these first, because if you are not balanced and well, you can't contribute to that for others, as we know, and do so with compassion. Very important point. Let's see, 28. Abandon any hope of fruition. This is one of my favorites. Stay in the present moment. Don't get caught up in ideas about what should happen, how it should go, the gratitude you should get. We stay in the present moment, doing what needs to be done simply for its own sake. Abandon poisonous food. Remember, I'm seeing this as particularly media now, but it says, be watchful of the things that we use to build up our own egos. The way we malign others, gossip about them, talk about them. The compassionate teachings are designed to lessen our sense of self-centeredness. And like rotten food that poisons you and deceive others, we avoid it. Here is 30. Don't be so predictable. That's again, don't just go into the habits of aggression or contraction when things don't go our way. Don't malign others. That one's pretty simple. Don't wait in ambush. Don't wait till someone is weakened, till they're off their feet, till they have a difficulty to, and then take satisfaction in their distress. That's 32. There's 33. Don't bring things to a painful point. Means don't invite humiliation. 34. And these are just little statements, commentaries by Pema. Don't transfer the ox's load to the cow. Don't transfer your responsibilities to others. Take responsibility. I like that one a lot. Here is 35. Don't try to be the fastest or don't compete. 36. Don't act with the twist, with ulterior motive of benefiting really you when it looks like you're being so good. My father used to call those the first pew people. Don't have to be a first pew person. Don't make gods into demons. Don't use the teachings and practices to strengthen our own self-image, our own bodhisattva-ness. That would be wrong practice. And I think 38 is the last. Don't seek others' pain as the limbs of your own happiness. Be watchful about how we build our happiness on the difficulties, the suffering of others. And so that's it. So I think that will be good. I'm going to check chat now. How do you recognize your greatest defilement obstacles among all the others? Yes, I will speak to that, Annika. I'll speak to that. All right, I'm going to get stop the share now. We have the others available to us. So I love that question. How do we pick the greatest defilements? I tend to notice patterns in myself. And so what we tend to know, and I'll see if you know this for yourself, but what I know for me is that my errors or my patterns, even my aggressions, tend to be triggered by some fairly similar things. For example, I use that example that I had, which is I have a core belief thought from childhood, which is I'm always the one who has to do everything. That's a myth. It's a delusion. It's not true, but it has felt true as an oldest child in a divorced family. And so why do I always have to do everything? Since I recognize that core delusion in myself, I watch for the ways that it plays. And I gave you that example that even my 11-year-old caught me when he said, well, the reason you're doing it is because you can, and possibly another cannot. And he was exactly right. In fact, the thing that I was complaining about was something that another family member did not have the capacity even to do, which was to have an event and celebrate something. And so that's the way I think we begin to make contact with our greatest defilements. We know also, the teachings say, that the essential defilements are greed, hatred, and delusion. And so I always look for, where is my wanting self, which is the greedy self? Where is the one that thinks it should have it a certain way? Where is my contraction, my resistance, my anger, my even depression about that? How do I notice that contractedness in myself? That's often a very strong way to pick up where our defilements, our greatest defilements, lie in our contractedness. And we contract again in very similar ways. And our greatest defilement, says the Buddha himself, is always ignorance, that we don't pay attention to where we are contracting. We don't pay attention to what our core storylines are that feed those contractions. We stay in ignorance. And so I would say, if you use any of those, yeah, so where you feel most threatened or most triggered, yes. Most victimized, yes. Oh, it's beautiful. Repetitive thoughts are present. That's exactly right, Annika. That is exactly where we get to pay attention. And guess what? It's right there again and again and again for us to see. Isn't it beautiful? There it is, the jewel right in the dukkha is there for us to see. Where we get hooked, where we get snagged, where the mind goes, nah, I don't wanna, why do I have to? How come me? Why not them? How come they don't dig the ditch? Why do I have to be the one to pay for the fence when it's something shared on my boundary? You know, I'm giving you crazy examples, but you understand, of course, this point. So if you were going to pick a particular slogan in point 6, and they're all around right speech, they're all around right effort, they are around wise relationship, aren't they? How do we conduct ourselves in relationship? Isn't it perfect timing? In relationship to others without enmity, without ill will, without hatred and aggression, without making the others other and enemy. How do we do this? And we've got to climb out because our world will not survive in our current path in divisiveness and conflict and violence. We will not see the way through from here. And as Eddie said in that reading by Seth, in the Psalm, in the aspiration prayer of the Bodhisattva by the Dalai Lama, what are they saying? Attend your own garden, stay true to the self, know the goodness in you, live that, practice that, be watchful of the tendencies to think if only they straightened out, we'd all be okay. And don't we all? Yes, you do. Because you're going, if only that guy, or if only that guy, right? We have the savior and a demon, a God and a demon. We're constructing them ourselves, aren't we? If only they get it elected, then it'll be okay. No, no. It'll be okay as you are okay. We will be well as you are well. We will find the way to love as you are loving. That's the path. We are all looking elsewhere. And this time, it particularly, is not a time for anywhere else. It is a time to stay with oneself, right one's own ship, open one's own heart. Right? This is the practice, essential practice now. So find a slogan that you feel in some way represents that. Are there any slogans that any of you enjoyed? I'm going to stick with abandon all hope because in that way, it lives what I'm saying, doesn't it? Which is if I can abandon all hope for another president, another party, another partner, another child, another yard, another car, if I can abandon all hope for something else to come, then I myself can be the light I seek, right? Then I myself become, by its necessity, the light I seek, not looking anywhere else. And so come online, say hi or chat with me about which slogan. I'll put them back up so you can take a little look at them again. Which of these was working for you? Oops, I just clicked it off. There we go. Let's see if they're there. So I'm picking abandon any hope, and I just called it abandon all hope. That's my shortened version of that. All hope of someone else saving the day. What else do you like there? Let me know. Leanne's got one here. Number going for 24. Change your attitude, but remain natural. Yes, change the attitude, but don't think too much of yourself as you're doing it. Don't think, well, I'm pretty good now because I've got a whole new attitude. Can we stay natural, human, be ourselves, stay in this worldly relative plane so that we could be of benefit with that? Thank you, Leanne. I really like that one. Who else? Yeah, don't be so predictable. I like that one too, Courtney. What it means is, they're just using the word grudge here. What it actually means is that we're going to stay unhooked. We're not going to get caught when someone does something that's wrong or we don't like or we don't think is fair. We're not just going to react. It's actually about reaction, isn't it? Don't be so predictable in our reactions to things we don't like or want. I like that one too. That is number 30 that Courtney's liking. Yes. Can we be forgiving? I would begin with, Courtney, being non-reactive before I'd worked what we can offer in forgiveness then from that place of non-reactivity will be very, very beneficial. It may not begin as forgiveness, even if that's your aspiration. It may begin as open space. Okay, I'm not just going to, well, I'm not all the way to forgiveness on this, but I can breathe. Can I breathe in recognition? And can I send out the wish that this be of benefit? Thank you. Annika, abandoned poisonous food. Yeah, I'm having to practice that one too. That's my other one. You got caught on 27. Oh, the work with defilements. Well, you know, you can integrate your 27 with this because as we are in contact with media, right, which we cannot get around, I would say your opportunity to work on number 27 is going to be huge. You're going to have a lot of opportunity, just like Courtney is saying, isn't she, to not go into old habits of reactivity as we confront media, particularly, or someone who shares a different politic or a different perspective, or someone whom we perceive to be unkind or selfish. It's very easy to turn a person who refuses to wear a mask, for example, that's just an example, or who wears a mask, I guess is easily be true, into the enemy. In fact, one of my family members, my father's wife, got yelled at as she was going into a store in Illinois for putting her mask on, and got berated for being stupid and fearful because she had made the choice to put the mask on. So I don't want to take a side about wearing a mask, right? We can make an enemy of anything and everything, and we often do. Maybe that should be your pick, number 27. You see how you work with it. I would recite this every day. I'd make sure that we write it down, that we get it available to us. And remember, you can shorten this in a way that you can remember. Mine is abandon all hope. That's just a really quick phrase, a couple words I can remember. I will recite it every day. I'm going to rethink about it at night. Go, okay, where did I get hooked? Where did I get caught? Where did I see that I could free myself? And even in the recognition, this is the beauty of the practice, where I see that I was caught, this is a moment of freedom. Where I go, wow, I really got hooked up there. In that moment, I am once again freed. So, anything else before we offer the dedication? Yes, poisonous food isn't so much about the substance. It is about the way the mind holds the substance or the object. So news is news is news. The news is not the problem. What is the problem is what we do with it then. And our tendencies, of course, are to ruminate, to react or resist. Those are our tendencies. So the poison actually comes from the mind, not from the objects. But we are then entitled legitimately to limit the objects as we are working with that mind. And so I'm not very involved with social media right now. It has caused me distress that I don't see as beneficial. It has not encouraged my contributions at all. Quite the opposite. I've gone into a time or two feeling hopeless as we can. And I have really discovered that that's not of any benefit.
And
yes.
I must say, this is Dennis. I wasn't able to do my chat thing, but
Yeah.
26 really lit up for me because yesterday I was at the Big Five store and people
Yeah.
buying a lot of ammo at the Big Five.
That's right.
I had a chance to contemplate others' weaknesses.
Yes.
As I was witnessing that.
Yes, and not decide. We don't use that to feed our arrogance, right, Dennis? We don't use the fear of others and their choices in their fear to now feed our own arrogance or our own pride. It says in taking a different action. It would be very challenging for me uh, other than to do the Tonglen practice right there to figure out what else I could do to be of contribution. Since we are not likely to talk others out of guns or ammunition, in fact, we've got the largest purchase of guns in all time happening right now. And again, because of our fear, right? Because of our confusion about the future, because we don't know how things are going to go, we can easily with understanding very quickly move into self-protection. And guns are one of our core belief thoughts about what we can use towards that protection. Um, I do not have anything negative about guns in general. I grew up around guns my whole life. Um, I do have concerns about how we use them, particularly in times of tension, division, aggression, and reactivity. That's a little scary because of the human mind. So why don't we take a moment and just settle back in. We will go into a period. I'm going to click off the share. Let's do our dedication. And so gathering ourselves, making contact with the essential goodness of this awakened heart, finding the way back into the body with the sense of this whole body sitting here breathing. May we recollect our slogan. May we recollect our aspirations for the practice and those for whom we are dedicating the practice today. May we dedicate the merits, the blessings, and the benefits of this practice today in all practice, throughout all time and all traditions. May we gather this towards the end of suffering and the realization of true abiding happiness and freedom. May we do so for ourselves, for loved ones, for those neutral others, for those with whom we have difficulty, and for all beings, those who are lonely, those who are fearful, those who buy guns, those who wear masks, and those who don't. May we remember those being born and those who are dying and offer them special blessings. May we also offer special blessings to the firefighters, to the healthcare workers, to the grocers, to the neighbor who steps up, to the one who is ill and fearful. May this practice contribute to their ease, to their happiness, and their well-being. May we all have happiness and the causes for happiness. Breathe in the wish and then send it out. May we all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May we all rejoice and be grateful for our good fortune and wish this good fortune for all beings. May we rest and dwell in the infinite space, in the great arms, the wide open space of love, compassion, and wisdom. May it free us all. And may this practice today contribute. So be it. Thank you all. Thank you for being here this morning. I will be sending out the next chapter. We're going to be reviewing point 7 next week, but I'm going to be sending the one after as we begin to move into another area of the Bodhisattva path. But I'll send you both those. I have a little time today to copy the chapters and get them to you, and I will. So everyone, please be well. Good to see you all. Have a good day. A very good day. Blessings.